Welcome to Sherry 2.0. So what's different about Sherry now? So the difference in Sherry is that I painted her. Yes, I wanted to brighten it up in here so that I wouldn't have to use so much light, and as you can see, that's all bright now. And the sun just came over the top right there, so we're getting some light now. This is a stencil, and I dabbed some blue and white paint over the top of it, create the stencil look, and then I put a poly coat over the top. This is just a white primer paint. I did it on the top as well, so all of the upper cabinets and wood is painted white. Some other additions, remember that very blue and lovely duct tape? Yeah, I got rid of that. And these are just like push pins for a corkboard and some fabric I had. So I glued it up in the top and then did push pins to hold it on the bottom. Another awesome addition is this light. My friend helped me screw in the top, and it's just touch and then it pulls out and moves. I love it. Here is a bee that wants to come hang out with us. Hey guys, and welcome to my van tour video. This is an updated van tour video of Sherry and what I've done to her recently. If you'd like to check out the first van tour video, check it up here. I'll have it linked, and that one shows the van build process and my dad helping me with it, and then some spots that I had seen in the first 6 months of being on the road. So Sherry is a 1993 Dodge Ram van. She has a 318 engine, V8. I have been working on her since I got her, fixing her up, and definitely been spending lots of time getting to know the ins and outs of my engine. She gets about 15 miles per gallon. I have about a 500-mile radius with my tank of gas, which is super awesome, so I usually go about half tank before I stop. The inside I converted into what I wanted with the bed and the countertop, but I did buy her as a camper van. I've been living in Sherry for 3 years, just over 3 years, and I really enjoy it. People have asked if I would go with something different than Sherry, and I have, time and time again not wanted to go with anything different than this type of van. It's got the high top already on it. I can stand up in it. It's got enough space. I can sleep in the width of the van because it's about 6 feet. It does well. It's got high clearance on it. I took off the running boards along the side of the van. I didn't need that extra step to get in. Then it would have been kind of like 3 steps to get inside the van, and I didn't need that. I've taken her down some pretty crazy roads. She survived. I've never gotten a flat tire with her. I've been keeping up on the mechanics as much as I can. There's only been 1 or 2 times where I felt almost stranded with Sherry, but she eventually started to back up and we were able to get back out on the road. So this is the back of my van. I've got some more storage containers in the back there. This side holds my clothes. Clothes are in here, and then this one holds towels, and this one holds toiletries. I got some new bedding, and I'm trying to coordinate it with creams, blues, and grays. This is my lap desk, so when I'm working in my bed, I can just put that on my lap. This body pillow is really nice because this cabinetry right here, my head hits it when I'm sitting in bed, so this really helps make it easier to just use my bed as a couch. My mom sewed the curtains for me so that I can have lighter curtains because I did have dark blue ones in the back. Really helps brighten it up, and then I have some towels behind them to make them black out. I put blankets in the curtains on the sides so that I can block the light because the curtains don't cover the full space of the window. And it also makes it warmer across my bed. This is one of my blackout curtains. This one goes all the way along here, and then this curtain goes along here. I really like that these two are blue because when you're looking into the van, it's harder to tell that if I were to put a white curtain here, it would make it more obvious if you were just like peeked inside the van that there's probably stuff in the back, whereas the dark blue follows the blue of the interior. And the same thing for right here. The front of my van, I hold my trash here because it's kind of a in the middle spot for when I'm cooking, and then I keep drinks down here in this cooler, and my purse and some other things up in the front. These bags here hold just kind of like scarves and hats and some random things. I also have, you know, kind of a junk bucket here to keep things that I don't really have a spot for, just kind of a catch-all because I only have so many cupboards. And going up into the front, this is the Jackery that I've talked about. I'll do a link up here to my Jackery video. I really like it. I've been using it since I got it back in January, and it's amazing. Actually got it in February. I'm right now charging my camera battery, and while I'm driving, it does pass through energy, so I can charge the Jackery, and then I have access to 2 USBs and a 120 plug. So that's super awesome to be utilizing while I'm driving. Here on the driver's side, I keep it really clean. I like the cup holders are pretty high. I've got a really short nose on the dash and the windshield, so it really helps driving that I can see more of what's happening. Here up on the ceiling, I've got some of my little trophies. I love doing junior ranger things and going to national parks and being a junior ranger. So here are some of the places that I've been. I haven't really filmed that I went to the East Coast, but I've got like Martin Luther King Jr., which is in Atlanta, and Acadia National Park, Salem Maritime. So I really, really enjoyed going to all these national parks and national historic areas. So up on my dash, I have some choya, and those are my sunglasses. This little fishy with a tail that wags while I'm driving, and then another choya, and a hat I just got from my parents' friends who go to Ghana every year. So on this side of the van, the passenger side, since I don't have a passenger with me, I just fill it full of stuff. And I've got extra shoes on the floorboard, and then 2 bags of things, and then all of this stuff in the seat is food, snacks and whatnot that I got for while I'm driving, and some baked goods that I've made. Here's my purse. I put some Reflectix down because this part of the van gets really hot since this is the engine and then the transmission is underneath it, so it gets super hot while I'm driving, and I didn't want to heat up my cooler. Here is my solar panel, and I got like a relatively cheap one. It's 100 watts. I pull it out and set it up outside. And my coach battery is over here. It is hooked up to an inverter, 600 watt inverter. This is an AGM battery. And if you want to know more about this system, I'll put a link to the video up in the top of this. So in the middle of the back here, I like to keep as few things as possible so that I have this open area to walk around, have dance parties, you know, the normal thing that you would use your living space to do. And this is my food cooler. I have like eggs and asparagus and mushrooms in it right now, and I in the past didn't used to cover it, but now I got some extra towels, so I'm covering the cooler with 2 towels to keep the cold air in. And then this bucket I used to have underneath this area, underneath the countertop, but it holds my jumper cables and tools and extra things like that, and the top of it swivels, so it's super nice to have it to sit on. I used to just sit on the cooler all the time, but I love having this stool as well. So underneath the bed, I've got 2 blue bins. This one is my food storage, and this one holds my crafts. They are both pretty darn heavy, and I get the food bin out every day for dinner and whatnot, and then I can't fit my ramen in it. I actually have a lot of extra food right now, and I can't fit it all in my bins. I am storing it elsewhere. This fan, I decided I had bought a fan and a heater, but I decided that I probably wouldn't ever get the heater out, but I might get the fan out to plug it in to my inverter while the solar panel is out. So I'm gonna keep that around for a little bit and see if I use it. Behind all of this is 2 camping chairs and a box that I keep some extra like wood in, like whatchamacallit, like pallet pieces of pallet wood, and then I keep some ice skates in the back and some extra backpacks and just, you know, some things that I don't get out often. I store underneath the bed, and most of that is stored underneath the very far end of the bed. I did a little extension of the platform to create a shelf so that all these things could sit on the shelf and then I could store underneath it. Because when I first went out on the road, I was just piling everything on top of each other in the back, and it was all wonky and all over the place. I used to keep my clothes in duffel bags, but now I've got 1 bin for pants and 1 bin for shirts, and then 1 bin for undergarments. I'm really liking how everything's looking. I feel a lot better in here. I spent a little bit of money and I bought some new things and painted. I spent like a week painting this. It took a while to find a good time of day because it was so hot. Up in these bins, I've got a lot of things going on. This one's pretty deep. It's got a lot going on in it. Just basically random storage, electric like cords. It's got my battery jumper. It's got hats and cleaning wipes, bowls for when I make big salads, and some extra lights. This is my kitchen area. So I've got my stove, and up here I've got my plates and seasonings and teas and coffee. Over here I've got the pots and their lids. In the back, I have to take this thing out. So this holds this back. I used to do Velcro, but it wouldn't stay, so my laptop really likes to launch out of this drawer when I hit the brakes, so I try to keep it in there. So this just holds some extra clothes and jackets and mostly my laptop. I think I also have my big DSLR camera back here, and then I put that back in there to make sure it's all safe. Over here I have some band-aids and some extra lights, a couple card games, and on this side I've got a fan, Ziplocs, and food storage things for when I have extra food. Underneath the countertop, which on the countertop I like to keep my stove and my cutting board, and I've been storing it underneath the stove to keep the countertop more clean, and I've got some books and journals that I have with me. But underneath the counter is, I got these new curtains to go with the colors of the van. Underneath the cabinet I've got my propane bottle, drawers that I keep my utensils in the top drawer, and then bowls and cups underneath here, or in here. And in this drawer I keep my holy basil, some matches, some vitamins, and different things like that. This is an extra portable fan that I was given. It takes D batteries. All of my fans take D batteries. This bucket here I got to use as like a shower bucket. I have since started using it as storage, so it keeps my bags, but then underneath I've got a few snacks and whatnot. Then I just kind of shove things in the back because nobody usually sees this part of the van. This is really awesome. It's got a hand pump on top of a 3-gallon water jug, and I really like it because it's like a sink. I don't wash my hands here, but it's easy to get water out of to fill up my water bottle or to cook with. And on the end here is a foldable desk, so it fits, in a really small spot, but when I get it out, I can use it like a computer desk and it stands on its own. It's super nice. And in the back here, I keep some extra water jugs. So this vent I've had to replace once, and I've had to fix the old vent quite a few times, but the new one's being pretty sturdy. And over here I've got my mason jars, and they used to be purple, but I switched to clear because purple isn't really a color I've got going on in here anymore. They just hold random things, you know, just kind of, this is some sand and rocks from some special places that I've been. And then just, this is some LED lights, fairy lights, and binder clips. I actually use these a lot, and rubber bands I use a lot. Up here, I keep some of the tea sayings, and this one says, "Life is a flow of love. Your participation is requested." Then I got that magnet from someone, "Never stop exploring." And this big saying on the counter says, "Dreams are like fireflies, go out and chase a few." And I got this from the ladies that I worked with at Hallmark right before I went on the road. I really appreciate all the little sayings that kind of make my van into a home. And that's the cool thing about it, is like, this is my home. This is my comfort zone. This is where I experience life. Hey, thank you guys so much for watching my new van tour video. Be sure to check out my old one. And on this one, please leave a comment, like, and subscribe if you'd like to see more of my videos. I'm touring the Southwest at the moment and going to a bunch of national parks. You guys are awesome, and be sure to stay curious. Bye.